Welcome back to my channel, my angels. This is Melissa. In the last episode, we talked about how memory works, especially the Modal Model by Atkinson and Schifrin. So this time, I am going to present the updated version to you. Yes, this will be our topic. Why do we forget things so quickly? By the way, I apologize about the last video. I made some mistakes, but I left a comment to correct them, so I recommend you to check that out in case you miss it. Same opening, but rest assured, I'll be the one reading the scripture. Sorry about that if you are waiting for Miss AI to come to say hi to you. I fired her for good to save my money. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly thought, wait, why did I come here? Or maybe someone introduced themselves to you, and then 5 seconds later, I'm sorry, what's your names again? Please don't talk to someone like this is rude. Or perhaps you have studied really hard for an exam, only to forget everything in the moment the exam begins. Which is me. Well, my friends, I have some good news for you, or me only. I just passed my cognitive psychology exam. Hey, you should give me a round of applause since I slayed the dragon by myself. Seriously, it's not easy to take abstract theories from a textbook and apply them to real life. Let's get back to the topic. If you have experienced any of those situations, don't worry, you're not alone. And no, I'm not saying that you have dementia. I cannot promise that. You gotta go see a doctor for a diagnosis. Sorry, let me phrase it more professionally. If you are concerned about your memory, please talk to a healthcare professional, and I wish you luck. Forgetting is actually a normal part of how memory works. Our brains are not designed to remember every single details we see, we heard, or experience. Imagine if you remember every license plate you have seen in life, every conversation you have overheard, or every pocket space you have ever used. It would be overwhelming. This should be the fate of Sherlock Holmes, not ours. Just FYI, this type of person actually exists, and it is called hyperdementia. But here's something even more interesting. Sometimes we don't forget things after days or weeks. Sometimes, we forget them within seconds. Why? Does that mean our memory is broken? Not exactly. The answer is right inside the topic we have, working memory. Before I demonstrate a new module to you, let's get to review first. If you have watched my previous video, you should remember the modal modules and short-term memory. According to that module, information first enters sensory memory and then moves into short-term memory, and, if we are lucky, eventually become long-term memory. For many years, people believed that STM was simply a temporary storage system, just like a small bus. Information goes in, stays there for a little while, then either disappears or moves into LTM. Very simple, right? But there was a serious problem in this module. If STM were only a storage box, how could we solve a math problem inside our heads? How could we keep a phone number in mind while dialing it? Clearly, your brain isn't just storing information, it's doing something with it. Psychologists realized that STM was not passive at all, constant holding, organizing, updating, and manipulating information. Now, let me introduce you to 2 new buddies, Alan Baddeley and Graham Hitch. Based on our questions, they proposed a new module in 1974. Instead of calling it simply STM, they called it working memory. Let's do a little background check. Baddeley was a British, and people who work with him often describe him as humble, approachable, and generous with his ideas. Hitch was also a British, and a younger fella who worked with Baddeley together to study cognitive psychology. They were kinda like assistant and servant, having specific jobs to work on. Their collaborations complement each other well. Baddeley is best known for developing the Phonological Model, while Hitch makes major contributions through experimental research. Unlike Kontsky, who famously wrote Skinner, Baddeley simply thought that the Modal Model wasn't enough to explain things and questions what they have about the mind, which were the questions we have earlier. Therefore, Baddeley and Hitch came up with a new idea to resolve these questions. What if STM doesn't just store information? What if it actually works with it? Finally, in 1974, they proposed a working memory module to provide more details and improve the Modal Model. Let's think of it this way. STM is like a storage closet, and working memory is like your office desk. The closet stores things, but the desk is where the real work happens. You read, you write, you calculate, and you even make decisions. That's exactly what your brain is doing every single day. Working memory is a system that temporarily holds and manipulates information while we perform mental tasks. Unlike the old idea of STM, working memory is active and allows us not only to keep information in mind, but also to work with it. For example, imagine someone tells you the phone number of his house, 425-512-1234. You remember it just long enough to dial it on your phone. Or perhaps you are solving and finding the derivative of fx equal 3 sine x minus 2 cosine x. You will need to remember the formula to solve the complicated math questions and keep track of the intermediate results. All of these tasks rely on working memory. According to Baddeley and Hitch, working memory is not a single storage box. Instead, it consists of several components that work together: the central executive, the phonological loop, and the Visuospatial Sketchpad. If you are an ESL student like me, it's okay. There's a simple way to remember these goblins. You are a hero. Of course, you have the power to defeat these monsters. The first component is the central executive. What I would call this goblin is CEO or a control freak. Central executive controls attentions, decides what deserves our focus, switches between different tasks, and coordinates the other components of working memory. The second component is the phonological loop, and it will be a receptionist with big ears. This system temporarily stores verbal and auditory information, such as words, letters, and sounds. When you silently repeat a phone number to yourself or rehearse a groceries list inside your head, you are using the phonological loop. By the way, it doesn't understand language. It just simply keeps sounds active for a short period of time. The third component is the Visuospatial Sketchpad, which I call as an artist or designer. This component temporarily stores and manipulates visuals and spatial information. For example, when you imagine the layout of your bedroom, mentally rotate an object, or follow directions on a map, you are relying on the Visuospatial Sketchpad. So far so good? Okay. Baddeley made an update for this module in 2000. The fourth component he proposed was Episodic Buffer. Its job is kinda like project director, in my opinion. This system acts like a temporary workspace that combines information from the PL and VS, which is our receptionist and designer, and combines with LTM into a single, meaningful episode. It helps us integrate different types of information into one coherent experience. For example, imagine you are watching a movie. The dialogue, the actors' faces, the background music, and even memories from earlier scenes are combining into one meaningful experience. That's what the episodic buffer helps your brain do. These components constantly work together while we are reading, writing, speaking, solving problems, making decisions, and even carrying on a conversation. One important thing to remember is that working memory has a limited capacity. It can only hold a small amount of information at a time. When too much information enters the system, some of it might be lost or replaced by new information. This is one reason why we sometimes forget things within seconds. Rather than thinking of working memory as a stored container, it is more accurate to think of it as your brain's mental workspace. It is where information is temporarily held, organized, manipulated, and used to help you think and complete everyday tasks. So now, we understand what working memory is, but still leave us some important questions. If memory helps us think, solve problems, and remember information, why do we still forget things so easily? Just like I said, working memory has a limited capacity. It can only hold a small amount of information at one time. As new information enters the system, older information may fade away or be replaced if we are not actively using or rehearsing it. Think of it like a small desk. If you keep placing more and more books, papers, and coffee cups on it, eventually there won't be any room left. Something has to go. Your working memory works in much the same way. That's why you may walk into another room and suddenly forget why you went there. While you were walking, your attention shifts to something else, and the information you were holding in working memory simply disappeared. It also explains why multitasking is often much harder than we think. Every task competes for the same limited mental workspace. The more information your brain has to juggle at once, the easier it becomes for something to slip away. So now you know, we forget things so quickly because our working memory was never designed to hold everything. Its job is to temporarily keep the information that is useful right now, while letting go of information that is no longer needed. So the next time you walk into a room and forget why you went there, don't panic. Your brain is probably working exactly the way it was designed to. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is Melissa. I appreciate your valuable time to listen to my presentations. If you enjoyed this video, please consider give this video a like and subscribe in this channel. Cognitive psychology can be tough to understand and digest, but I'm here to study with you all. Spoiler, next episode is about false memory. So ask yourself a question: can you trust your own memory the whole time? You all have a great day. Stay safe and don't get crazy with the fireworks. Happy 4th of July.